This time, played a top 4 player in the world. But you may be wondering, why is his top rating just over 1500? Well, it was not classical chess, of course, but duck chess, where you have this bird as an obstacle. So I saw a pending challenge with a 2300, which was casual, and thought, why not play him? Let's start the analysis. It begins with e4, where I block the symmetrical response, so he goes for the double phi and ket toe, while I develop my knights. To give you context, the duck's ability to block the whole diagonal absolutely destroys the bishop's purpose, and they are far worse than knights, so his strategy is smart. Okay, I move my valuable knight out of danger, straight up hanging a pawn with a tempo. Should have blocked the bishop by duck d5. He hops onto the treat, I force him to retreat. He blocks h3, preventing the bishop trap ideas, and I attack it with the knight, not sure why, I wasn't going to take it anyway. He forces my horse back and retreats the bishop once again, maybe being scared of the kingside weakened diagonal attack, but I would need time and he could block it. Honestly, a bit strange. Okay, whatever. My next move is c3 supporting the center pawn push, but he blocks it with the duck and develops a minor piece. Queen c2 to a vacant space. Bishop attacks knight, knight trade, which doubles my pawns and gets one of them on the same diagonal as his dark squared bishop. How do I even break through? A strange bishop back now, queen centralization. He pushes a center pawn for the first time this game, and I block my own pawn because I have given hope on ever pushing it. Symmetrical pawn push, castles. I find an interesting pawn sack which looks absurd on the surface, but I'm playing for bishop sack. This knight jump forces him to move the bishop to a starting square, and even though I have a rook check, he'd probably block it, and I would be down a piece, up an attack. Anyway, he attacks my queen. I put it on the same diagonal as the bishop, ready to take, but then I decide to play a pawn push to not go crazy and just develop the bishop and the future rook. He lets me get that juicy knight jump, castles and knight jumps attacking the rook, but I am always going to be defending the saying that a knight in duck chess is better than the rook. So that trade gave me some chances to fight back, being down 2. Bishop back to b7 yet again. It's allergic to be eaten by a horse, doubled pawn push, and he weirdly decides to trade off the defender of his king, queen g5. Yes, it attacks the knight, but I immediately think about the rook lift and pinning and winning it, as well as the played move. Knight back with tempo, queen back, and I perform the first step of the rook lift, totally forgetting about my d5 pawn push. I still haven't eaten a pawn this game, and also this bishop prevents the rook lift, and the queen tension is real. I remove my queen from that diagonal and threaten a queen lift. So king h7 prophylaxis and queen here, attacking his woman through the bird. King defends the queen and I jump with the knight with the idea of knight h5 check royal fork. He retreats the light squared bishop for, I don't know which time. It seems the most moved piece of the game, and I go back as well. I notice he has put the queen in front of the king and using the duck to cover the bishop snipe. Perform a rook lift with the idea to pin it and win it. A weird looking move of king back, he blocked the idea. Now I activate my bishop, but it quickly gets humbled and moves to an awkward square. This is around the moment where our moves will be of poor quality, because the time scramble. So it's important to bring up the fact that he specializes purely on duck chess, and at normal, he's just slightly better than me. We continue with Vanzex making breathing room for the king. Rook centralization absolutely hanging a knight. By the way, here's an idea of queen check and rook gets free, but it's not working. And even though the time scramble, he has 44 seconds. He spends 15 seconds, I think it's over. But no, he just moves the rook to support the pawn push. I get my horse out of here, and a pawn push. Rook g3 getting control over the file, and his king is getting worse. King tries to make a run for it. I move mine to pass time. Attacks my rook. Great knight reroute noticed by me with only 20 seconds on the clock, and f5. Yes, he hung it! Knight takes, but actually, black still has fighting chances. Their compensation for the queen is a rook and 3 pawns. I capture my first ever pawn this game. He gets half my peasants, but that move weakens his king severely, and then I forget about the bishop-rook tension which was around for the eternity and blunder it. But more interesting for you, get my king off the back rank where it won't be checked. Checks can really waste time. King to the side, preventing me from trapping the rook. It turns out that if he made a random move, I could have played king g1 duck h3, trapping the rook, so he prevents king g1 with the duck. I still try to use this motive, but now he makes a breakthrough via h1 and his rook is in a cross position there, so I go for the king now, blocked. I move my queen to reroute it, rook takes pawn, and I align a battery. He attacks my pawn. I defend it with the bishop also putting it on a very active square. I bring the queen closer and he gives up a really valuable pawn. Queen takes, And even though the check is currently blocked, the king's breathing gets tougher when I pin it. He forgets about duck c6, and now he loses the rook because it's check, and he can't go to b7 because the bishop. I take it, and he tries to go for my king. I do the same thing, and rook a1, my opponent, is on less than 10 seconds and is basically playing random stuff. Queen c6, and he loses on time. Let's see the mate construction I was able to come up with. His king can't move, so a random pawn push and blocks queen h6. Then I would play queen up check blocking it, which is checkmate. I was so excited to beat the guy. I didn't gain points because it was casual, but man, that was such a battle. Good for him. He didn't drop the juicy rating points, and a month later, he's even higher up there. Thanks for witnessing that absolute clash. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like. Subscribe to see more videos like this. See you later.